I was just amazed and stoked to be on the bill. And I mean, with Caleb as well, like, man, I have infinite respect for Caleb. That guy's got his own style. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and totally different. You know, like, that's what I find about beatboxing. Like, I'm definitely more of kind of an old school guy.
Right.
And I incorporate a lot of, like, kind of MC elements into it. Mm-hmm. Where Caleb's got his whole, like, R&B style, but he can, you know, just totally hold it down and kill it on numerous elements. And then you got the new school cats like Haste.
Yep.
That kid is like, man, I think he's one of the best in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And just like such a dope kid and just down with the elements of hip hop and, you know, embedded in community. But skill level is just absolutely phenomenal, you know? But just like we're all completely different, you know?
Yeah.
We're all beatboxers, but we're just all of a different mold, you know?
Yeah,
but that's cool.
I really like that.
Yeah.
How do you think beatboxing has changed from when you started? Like, I feel like a guy like Haste has to hit way different sounds. Is it about, in some ways, being the DJ of the era and like giving them samples and giving them sounds the way a DJ would? In a sense, kind of cutting up their tracks in a way. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just they're definitely going after the sounds and the musical soundscapes of their time, for sure. Because I mean, someone like Haste can do probably, you know, all these crazy things like dubstep and all these you know, different influences and styles, where someone like me is just like, oh yeah, I'm just like kicking just like 90s sounding hip hop beats. Everything's probably falling around like 90 BPM. You know?
Do you think YouTube has had an impact on?
YouTube, I think, has definitely had a huge impact on everything in the world. But I mean, especially beatboxing. And
break that down.
Okay, so I feel
you always want to go like when I say that, like break that down, and you're like
break it down.
Oh man.
So I mean,
I wish I could do that.
But what I see. And I mean, it's good. I think YouTube is this amazing thing. We all use it as this educational tool and this thing for tutorials. How to do this, how to do this.
Yeah.
Now,
how to raise a child. I've been into that one a lot.
So I think a lot of kids have been how to beatbox. So they look it up, and they're all watching the same tutorials.
Got you.
And so all of their sounds sound very, very similar. So I think you have to be kind of extremely talented or just push it, inject your own originality to make yourself, you know, bigger and different from everything else that's happening right now. Because I find a lot of it sounds exactly the same. You know, you could apply that to other things too. Like, you could even apply that to skateboarding. Like, kids are watching videos to learn tricks, and now they all, like, the style is just similar. It's also similar, and it's like that has become the standard. Now, when I started beatboxing, you know, we downloaded a few songs off the internet and tried to figure out what Rozelle was doing and what Scratch was doing, or we're listening to Roots records.
Right.
You know, and we're just like, I don't understand that. I never had someone breaking it down for me. It was just me listening to it, trying to deconstruct it, figure it out, you know, and I stuck in that mold. I didn't progress watching, you know, videos as that stuff came out. I just kind of always just kept on my own tip, just in my own head. So then I was just like, my sound is definitely older and different, but that's just what I do, you know.
It's so thorough though. Like, your sound is never not fresh, because it always feels like it just opened the package. Like it's fresh always. Like, it's never like, oh yeah, dated. It's like crisp all the time.
Well, because you had to come up with a lot of stuff yourself. I remember there was one just when YouTube was coming out. It was one where you put your put your thumb into your teeth or whatever. And you were working on that for months and months, trying to get this technique down. And it was not long after you had figured it out just manually by process that this kid put up a YouTube video. Here's how you do it in 10 seconds.
You know, that whole thing.
Who knew that was
not forever? I was like, man, I don't know how the hell.
But it's a different thing, because in the trial and error trying to figure that out, you really hone a unique style.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, like, and I don't want to take away from people that learn through, you know, tutorial beatbox videos, because I think that's amazing. You know, and over the last while, like, I've started checking out some of that stuff too, and it's like I'm learning new stuff. Like, oh, okay, that's how they make that sound. Awesome.
Right.
You know, and I'm trying to incorporate some of that into my own stuff as well. Like, I don't want to stay a dinosaur over here the whole time. Like, man, I'm gonna keep doing this the rest of my life, so I want to progress it as much as I can, but I still want to stay I don't want to delve too far into that world. I always want to just kind of stay, working on it, just trying to figure things out my own way. But I want to take some influences in as well,